from London, this is BBC News. The Israeli military suffers its heaviest losses since it's launched its ground offensive in Gaza, with 24 soldiers killed. The UK and the US carry out fresh strikes on Houthi targets in Yemen. Britain's Foreign Secretary Lord Cameron says the latest attacks are justified.
What the Houthis are doing is unacceptable, it's illegal, and it's threatening the freedom of navigation.
And nominations for this year's Oscars will be announced in a couple of hours, with blockbusters Oppenheimer and Barbie expected to top that list. Hello, I'm Rajini Vaidyanathan and welcome to this hour. We begin in the Middle East, where Israel's military says 24 soldiers were killed in central Gaza on Monday, making it the deadliest day for Israeli forces since the start of their ground operation. In a statement, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said, "Yesterday we experienced one of our most difficult days since the war erupted. In the name of our heroes, for the sake of our lives, we will not stop fighting until absolute victory," he continued. Well, his comments come despite increasing pressure internationally and from within Israel for the fighting to stop to secure the release of the remaining 130 hostages held by Hamas and to allow in more desperately needed humanitarian aid for civilians in Gaza. The Israeli military says it's killed dozens of terrorists in Gaza in the past 24 hours. This video is from the Israel Defense Forces, showing strikes on Hamas targets. And let's show you the live scene looking across Gaza from southern Israel. Let's show you that now. There you can see it. Now that comes as the Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza says at least 195 Palestinians have been killed in the past 24 hours. That now takes the total killed since the 7th of October to 25,490. Well, our Middle East correspondent Yolande Nell has more from Jerusalem.
Well, these were 21 reservists, so we're in a location quite close to the Israeli border, near to the Israeli kibbutz of Kisufim, which was one of those locations attacked on the 7th of October. The Israeli military says that they were on a mission to try to make things safe enough for Israeli residents to go back to their homes in the south. And they were in two-story buildings when it seems that missiles were fired at a tank nearby, and because the two buildings themselves had explosives inside, it looks like the plan by the Israeli military was to demolish them. Then those two buildings themselves collapsed. The Israeli military says it's still investigating exactly what happened.
Yolande, now they're in Jerusalem. Well, let's take a look at another developing story that we're following today, and that is that the US and the UK have hit more Houthi targets in Yemen. It comes in response to attacks by the group on shipping in the Red Sea. The UK's Foreign Secretary Lord Cameron said the strike sent the clearest possible message that words would be supported by actions. In the last half an hour, we've had these pictures of Sir Keir Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party, of course, heading into the Cabinet Office to be briefed by officials on the latest military action by the UK. Labour figures said the opposition leader was not alerted before Monday's military action. Well, in a moment, we'll be speaking to my colleague, our political correspondent, Helen Catt, who's in Westminster. But first, let's take a look at what's happened overnight with this report from David Willis.
Royal Air Force jets armed with precision-guided bombs joined US forces to rain missiles on Houthi targets, prompting explosions which rocked the capital Sana'a and other parts of Yemen in the early hours of Tuesday morning. US officials said that among the targets was a weapons storage site buried deep underground. The UK Ministry of Defence said they hit multiple targets at two military sites in the vicinity of Sana'a airfield. This was the second round of military action undertaken jointly on the part of the US and the UK. A previous effort 12 days ago, coupled with half a dozen attacks mounted by the US alone, has so far failed to stop the Houthis.
Are the airstrikes in Yemen working?
Well, when you say working, are they stopping the Houthis? No. Are they going to continue? Yes.
نفذت القوات البحرية.
Before the latest strikes, Houthi leaders had vowed to continue their attacks on shipping in the Red Sea as part of a show of support for Palestinians caught up in the war with Israel. However, the Defence Secretary, Grant Shapps, predicted this latest mission would erode the Houthis' ability to threaten global trade. Yet more than 30 attacks on commercial vessels navigating a key route for world trade have already prompted fears of inflation as freight supplies are delayed or rerouted, added to which Iran's backing of the rebels raises the troubling possibility of a broader conflict in the Middle East. David Willis, BBC News, Washington.
Well, we